I adore things that are new and strange, things that are unusual, even for a world as bizarre as this one. Hello and welcome to Liam's Lyceum. I'm your host, Liam, aka Hembar, and today I'll be doing a spoiler-free review of G. Owen Wears' The Pellucid Witch. The Pellucid Witch is the first in a Dying Earth series by G. Owen Wears. The book was released in 2020. You might prefer the pronunciation of Pellucid. I like Pellucid. Maybe that's wrong. It just sounds way better. But it's definitely a Dying Earth book, likely inspired by Smith's Zothique more than any other setting, if I were to just guess. But I'm not actually sure on that. That is the feel it gives, though, so take that as you will. It starts with a man named Krill seeing some worm rotters, which seem to be crazed and human people going after a girl. He steps in and a gruesome encounter starts. It's rather grim and it's more graphic than much sword and sorcery, but it feels like sword and sorcery. Krill's chance of surviving the encounter is made possible by the mycotic armor that lives on him, which you can see on the cover, providing both pain and protection. It takes a similar place as Stormbringer does for Elric of Melniboné. There are other weird people, those with silver mouths, indigo eyes, scales on parts of their bodies. They seem to be called deviants, not the same as worm rotters, as worm rot itself seems to be a drug. And also it seems some people drink blood. There's a lot of weird stuff going on here. Anyway, some of the first chapters beyond the first also seem to be a flashback of sorts. It's a little disorienting, but terrifying and works well once I realized it didn't fit after the first encounter with the worm rotters. We get lots of horror, even things that initially seem like pity for another seems to have darker implications. There is a being in this that is Pellucid, right, or Pellucid, and she's a witch with green hair. That is, of course, important to this story. The story is divided into separate parts with chapters in each, of course. There is some sexual content. It's not much, I'd say, but it shows us the source of the problem as well in this case, so it's very useful, I'd say. There is one scene in particular that is quite heavy with odd erotic tension. I will mention that, though. Our main character could be described as dull as well, but I think his observations help the reader to explore the world. The foreshadowing could have been a bit more subtle, but it wasn't super overt. I wasn't disappointed by it, for example. Again, it's a Dying Earth setting that's got a very decadent vibe, but still in the spirit of Howard, I'd say, as it's very bloody and blood and thunder almost at times. So there were a couple parts near the end where this is very evident, and I loved it. Many of the made-up nouns have accents over vowels, and I couldn't quite tell what their purpose was besides maybe an exotic feel, or I could just be butchering all the pronunciations. But there is a second book out in the series called Daughter of Agonies, if I'm remembering correctly. I did buy a copy of it before I finished this because I was enjoying it that much, and I'll probably get to that soon. And I believe there is at least a third book planned as well, so I don't know anything about Wears here, assuming that's how you say the author's name. But whoever this person is seems to have a good amount of pulp-inspired fiction, which is something I'm looking more into, of course. So, and I'm interested to see what other people think, if they have read Wears. Anyways, Liam from Liam's Lyceum. I'll catch you next time.